if I was to ask you one question, if I was to walk up here right now, y'all hate me?
Like you did?
Yeah.
We had to fill out your spirit.
Yeah.
And how did you feel me?
The scriptures say, try the spirit. The scriptures say, try the spirit by the spirit. Let's see if they are of the Most High or not. You know?
You guys are all right, man.
So you made the statement. You said, what does it take to make it right?
Right.
So we want to answer you what the Lord said.
Right there. And so this is going to be after the destruction of America.
Okay.
This is what's going to take place.
Revelation chapter 13, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Go ahead.
He that leadeth into captivity
Captivity is slavery.
Understood.
Read it again.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
So who led you into captivity and slavery?
Yeah, we know this. We know this.
Go ahead.
Trying to take that out of the history.
He that
out.
killeth with the sword.
Matter of fact, this young man right
The
here.
history, it's already out the history. It was the history books when I was in 6th grade.
I can't believe that. I can.
Yeah.
I really can.
And what do they call him?
They call it indentured servitude.
Right.
I'm sorry?
They call it indentured servitude now, and it's like a
I
paragraph
don't even know
on
what
it.
the fuck that means, dude. That's bullshit.
Indentured servant means somebody that works for money.
Yeah.
Like pretty much everybody in America is an indentured servant that has a job.
What indentured servants get hung and lynched and did all that when they trying to work for somebody. That's like me working for the Bob Valleys and I'll drop a drink and they beat the shit out of me.
Ain't no reason for any of that.
That ain't gonna happen.
That shit ain't right. That shit ain't right.
So the bottom line, I'll say this to you. If your line goes back to the people on the side, then you're gonna be all right. You know, I mean, if the Lord, if you want the elect, the Lord will deliver you. But if you're not, the Lord will destroy you on this side. But if your line goes back to Esau or the Edomites, then you're going into slavery.
I'm Catholic myself.
You know? Well, I mean, religion doesn't matter.
Well, I know.
Let's finish this out.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
So we were killed by the sword, and you must be killed by the sword because Christopher Columbus, when Christopher Columbus came to this land, he said that if in all the things that he did, what he should be remembered most for, and I'm quoting, not verbatim, is that he did not put his sword down, no, not for an hour. So when he came to this land, my forefathers helped him, and what did he do?
But he was white though.
He was white, but my forefathers helped him, and guess what happened? He slaughtered us.
Okay.
And he said, these people, they're very kind, they're very meek, they're very humble, they're very helpful. He said, with 50 men, we can take over all of these people.
Didn't they fuck that in Planet of the Apes?
Planet of the Apes. If this is the best they got, we should at 6 months we should be ruling this place. But that's the mentality of the so-called white people. Because the Bible says they can never have enough.
Okay.
So they'll continue to take till there's nothing left. So when there's nothing left, what do? They take the people, they make them slaves. And
So if I was to tell you this, that I have absolutely nothing to do with any of this side, but I believe what you're saying.
Well,
where am I at?
It could be a possibility that you go back to this side.
Yeah.
But you just don't know because what are you?
I told you I'm Catholic.
No, I'm saying like what
Germans getting the Navy
in the
in.
Navy? Yeah. Well, you know, you had so-called black men, Israelites, that ruled all throughout Europe.
Understood.
So it could be a possibility that your line may go back there, but we don't know for sure. That's why the angels, when the angels come back, they'll know for sure who's an Israelite and who's not.
Okay.
That's how much. That's because the Bible also speaks about confusion of faces. Right. That's how deep this thing is. You're going to have people that look like all the nations around the world that are going to be saved because they're Israelites, not because they're of that nation. Because the Lord doesn't give a damn about any other nation but the nation of Israel.
Okay.
You know?
So, y'all Jewish?
Well, we're Israelite, but the word Jew is only from one tribe.
Oh,
tribe
shit.
of Judah.
Okay.
But there's 12 tribes.
Okay.
The word Jewish means pertaining to being a Jew. But Judah or Judean or Jew is just a shortened form of the name Judah or the tribe of Judah. You know?
Well, hell.
Hey, so you better hope like hell your line goes back to that hey.
Praise the Lord.
All right, brother. Hey, so I mean, our thing is this, you know, we're here to teach, you know, and the Lord is the one that's going to do the sifting. Matter of fact, somebody get Amos 9 and 11, you know.
Amos 9 and 11. And In that day, I will
Matter
raise.
of fact,
If I could say, he kind of had a cool
now
vibe
he had a
for the
cool
spirit.
vibe about him. You know, he kind of was kind of like, he had flavor to him.
Yeah.
He didn't come up like a snake.
Right.
And you know, I mean, although he didn't really agree with everything, he didn't verbalize it, but
Right.
internally, you could tell he didn't believe every single thing that we told him. But like I told him, you better hope and wish that your line goes back to one of the people on his side. You know, because we can't just go rah, you know, just because the dude looks like a Edomite.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you don't know. That's why the Lord said at the end, the angels are going to come back and they're going to do the sifting.
None.
You know, they're going to
Weed
do
and
the
tear.
sifting and pick out who's the Israelite and who's not. And even if he's an Israelite and he's not part of the elect, he still may get destroyed.
Gone.
But that's for the Lord to decide, not for us. Now sometimes you can see crackers come up here and you know that they Edomites. They're just deep.
The way they
Yeah.
look in their eyes.
Like that devil last week, that Hungarian or whatever the hell he was a straight up devil, man. He was a serpent from Canada.
Yeah.
He was a fork-tongued devil.
Yep.
You know?
Certainly.
So yeah, go ahead, bro.
Amos 9 and 9.
And then somebody get that Revelation 7. What you got?
The parable about the
Yeah,
terror.
bring that out too. Yeah.
For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like the corn is sifted in a sieve. Yet shall not lead at yet.
Read that again from the top.
For lo, I will command.
Take your time, bro.
Gotcha.
Time.
For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of
So
Israel.
it's the Most High that sifted. He said he will command and he will sift the house of Israel. Go ahead.
Among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve.
Right, among all nations as his corn is sifted in the seed. So when you got a seed, you try to get rid of the bad stuff and keep the good stuff.
Gone.
The bad stuff you throw out, the good stuff you keep. You know, go ahead.
Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth.
Right, so yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. Because it also says in Isaiah, the 60th chapter, that all Israel shall be saved. You know, and that's in the kingdom. Because in the kingdom, the 2/3 are going to come back to the elect anyway. So all Israel shall be saved. Because that was the promise that the Most High himself made to Abraham. You know? That his seed shall be as the sands of the sea. So that means that those Israelites that get destroyed on this side are coming back. That's why we're going to have to go out and inhabit other planets in other galaxies and use whatever is out there because Israel's too massive of a people to be here on this planet. What? Couldn't get the words out. Go ahead.
Verse 10. All the sinners of my people shall die by the
And
sword.
that's it. All the sinners of the Lord's people are going to die by the sword. So you 2/3 out there, you so-called Negroes that don't want to accept the word, that don't want to get right, the Lord is going to destroy you.
Got
You
it.
so-called Latinos that don't want to get right, the Lord is going to destroy you. You so-called North American Indians that don't want to get right, the Lord is going to destroy you.
That's right.
And that's the bottom line, you know? So we may get upset and mad about certain things, but then when you sit down and you analyze it, say, wait a minute, the Lord said they're going to be destroyed anyway.
Right.
So whether they accept it now or not, you're still going to be destroyed
Right.
if you don't get with it. Yeah, brother.
Which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us.
Yeah, because a lot of you don't see things happening because you can leave and go to a hotel room, or you can go back to your apartment, or you can go to work. What's that?
Go to McDonald's.
You can go to McDonald's and get you a Grand Mac
Water's
with
still on.
cheese.
Yeah, I was just about to classic phrase. The water's still on.
Right. You know, just because you can do all of that, you can get you some Ben and Jerry's ice cream. You can get you a 6-pack. You can go get you a drink at the bar. You know, you can do whatever you want. You think that things ain't gonna happen. So you don't think this evil or this bad time that the Lord spoke of is ever gonna come. But it's coming. It's coming. It's fast approaching.
That's right.
The thing about it, you ain't got your eyes open. That's why Yahushua he said the parable. He said, well, he actually was speaking straightforward. He said, when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies, know that the desolation thereof is there. And when you see that, flee into the mountains. But the ones that didn't flee, what happened? They got put to death.
Ezekiel 33 and 33. And when this cometh to pass, and lo, it will come.
Go ahead.
Then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them.
Right, and the thing about it is, you don't believe us now because ain't really nothing happening. We don't have power right now. The only power we got is the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You know, we can't raise the dead up right now. We can't make the lame walk and the blind see. We can't do any of those things now. But when that time comes, the Lord said, in the day of thy power, thy people shall be willing. So you're going to want to get down that day, but it might be too late. Because the only ones that's going to get it is the elect. And we keep saying it, and we're the only group among all the Hebrew Israelite groups that teach that only the elect are going to be saved. And now you're starting to get some of them other groups that are starting to mention that. You know? But we're the Great Millstone is the most talked about and the most slandered group. But everything that we teach, these other camps, they eventually start getting into it and taking heed. Because prior to us getting on YouTube, nobody was teaching. They were bullshit. It was a goddamn desert on YouTube of Hebrew Israelites. But then when the Spirit got on Apostle Tahar to give out the order to put out those thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of videos, then all of a sudden all the other camps out there outside of Great Millstone started putting up multiple videos. You know, started going out and speaking on the streets when they was bullshitting and lollygagging, sitting on the sideline with their thumb up their ass. You know, but then the Spirit got on that man to spark the fire. And now everybody want to jump up and do that dance. You know, what we got?
That's it. Not 11.
All right, go ahead. We on.
Amos 9 and 11. In that day I will raise up the tabernacle of David that is falling.
Right, and that's what's happening right now. The Lord is raising up the tabernacle of David that is fallen. Now the tabernacle of David consisted of all 12 tribes. Not just the tribe of Judah, not just the tribe of Benjamin, and not just the tribe of Levi. All 12 tribes you see listed on the side. That's what the house of David is comprised of. Because the kingdom was split in two after David went back in the spirit world. When his son Solomon took the throne. And then when King Solomon passed the throne on to his son Rehoboam and Jeroboam were the two kings that the Most High split the nation in half by. But now the nation is coming back together as it was during the time of King David. And that's what we're proclaiming out here. That the Lord is going to bring back and redeem these people on his side and make us great again.
That's right.
He's going to make us royal again. And that's why we're getting this knowledge right now. We're getting this truth right now because we're the royal people of the earth that have been downtrodden, that have been spoke about, that have been kept in the prison houses, that have been ran into the ground, into the dirt, walked over, stepped on. But we still keep trudging on through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai.
That's right.
Because you can't stop the truth. And you can't stop the people of the Lord from waking up. So those that are part of the elect are going to wake up and the rest are going to die. And it's just that easy and that simple. Did you have something?
I got something like this. All right.
No, read on what he gets there.
And close up the breaches thereof.
Right, and the Lord is closing up the breaches thereof, meaning he's closing up the differences between all the tribes.
That's right.
Because the so-called Negroes and the so-called Puerto Ricans at one time weren't getting along. But what did the Lord do? He started bringing them back together. The so-called Mexicans and the so-called Puerto Ricans didn't like each other at one time. The Lord is bringing that together, you know? And all the different tribes have their little isms and schisms amongst each other. And the Lord is squashing all of that and bringing us back together as one.
Right.
Because we are the Israelites. That's who we are. Go ahead, bro.
And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as it was.
The Lord said he will raise up his ruins. Why? Because we as a people are ruined. We're destroyed. We're destruction. But now we're being brought back together because we lost our heritage because we turned our back on the Heavenly Father. So now, since we turned our back on him, he turned his back on us.
Okay.
But he said in this ruined state that we were in, that he was going to build us back up. Go ahead.
And I will build it as in the days of old.
And I will build it as in the days of old. Meaning what? Going back to when we were a great nation. We were the top nation out here. You know, all these nations feared us. You know, the white man wasn't calling us niggas and spics and none of that. The other nations weren't talking down to us. They weren't looking at us like they were better than us. They didn't have no damn fried rice in our neighborhoods. We were the top tribe over everybody.
Okay.
You know? And that's what the Lord is bringing back. But the problem is that the so-called Negroes and Latinos, Native American Indians in this land do not have a ruling class mentality. They have a slave class mentality. because they've been beat down to that state. They've been brought down to a low state. But the Lord is building up those ruins and setting us back up in power and back in order. And the world is starting to see that. And they're getting nervous. All that wickedness that you so-called white people did to our people, you're gonna have to pay for that.
That's right.
How do you like them apples? You know?
How about you blame somebody for something 200 fucking years ago?
Yeah, well,
that had absolutely nothing to do with anything.
What if somebody came in your house 10 years ago, murdered your whole family?
It wasn't the point.
And would you
it was
still
200 years ago.
What
it don't matter.
It doesn't matter if it was 200.
Grandfather did. That don't have nothing to do with me.
What does it matter if it was 50 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 minutes ago? You so-called white people always want revenge. You always want payback.
Something that happened 200 years ago.
What about, did you forget about 9/11?
Isn't that the slogan? Never
I saw 9/11.
So, did you forget about it? Did you give the
About
people
the Holocaust?
Yeah, about the Holocaust?
Let that go.
Goddamn devils.
Hypocrite.
These devils always do that. You know, all that was 250 years ago. So that makes it right?
Okay.
Because it was in the past. Give me Ecclesiastes 3 and 15. As a matter of fact, start at the 14th verse. Somebody get that quick.
Ecclesiastes chapter
Because you
3.
devils, you're going to pay whether you like it or not. You know? And they don't like to be called out on their bullshit. Somebody get that.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 15.
Start at 14.
Verse 14. I know that whatsoever the Most High doeth, it shall be forever.
Go ahead.
Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it.
Read on.
The Most High doeth it, and the men should fear before him.
Go ahead.
That which hath been is now,
That which has been is now. Go ahead.
and that which hath
Which is to be.
and that which is to be hath already been.
That which is to be has already been. Go ahead.
The Most High required that which is past.
So the Heavenly Father requires that which was past. So now what scripture asked you to get?
I had something real quick.
I had to ask somebody to get something.
Isaiah.
No, Ecclesiastes 3 and 15.
Isaiah.
All right.
Yes, I
Go ahead, bring it up.
This is Psalm 109.
No, I asked for Isaiah 14:21.
Okay,
Give me that.
Isaiah 14, yes.
Because these devils are trying to get out of paying back,
Okay.
out of their judgment. You can't escape the judgment of the Heavenly Father.
That's right.
Go ahead, brother.
It's Isaiah chapter 14 verse 21. Prepare slaughter for the children.
Prepare slaughter for, read it again now.
Prepare slaughter for his children,
Prepare slaughter for his children, go ahead,
for the iniquity of their fathers.
for the iniquity of their fathers. Because he said, oh, that was my grandparents and my grandparents back then. Read it again.
Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers.
So you so-called white people that are here today are being prepared for slaughter for the iniquity that your forefathers have done. And we just read that the Most High requires that which is past. So you got to pay. There's no way around it. And you're going to pay.
That's right.
If I may say, man, what the so-called white man did all throughout history is indelible, man.
Okay.
You look up that word indelible, it means a permanent mark that cannot be removed. Right. All right. Your history is pretty much stained, man. Stained with rape, rob, and murder. All right. Thievery, destruction, man. All the works of this so-called white man, it's indelible, man. You can't get rid of the past, man. The Heavenly Father already has everything in remembrance. All right. That was
I really just got one question.
Well, we have your voice on camera.
Well, maybe it's a part. It's one question, but it got two parts.
Man, please don't let it be no simple question. Just make it an intelligent question, and I'm not trying to be funny.
No, it is, bro.
But you know, a lot of times our people come up here and they come with some sideways stuff. So we just right now this is some serious business we're dealing. So
They want to get on camera more than
Understand
anything
you
else.
can gimmick out the Old Testament, but why? If it's a new covenant. If Jesus is first and he's the holy and the old,
because
Jesus is gonna be first. Why would you give us the rules from the Mosaic law?
Because both the Old Testament and the New Testament go hand in hand. But people are trying to separate it. Oh, you got Isaiah, Matthew 13?
Matthew 5.
Somebody give Matthew 13:52. Right.
Matthew 5 and 17. Think not
Now,
that
these are the words of the Messiah. If you had a red Bible, this would be written in red letters. Go ahead.
Matthew 5 and
Now listen
17.
real good.
Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets.
So the Messiah said, think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophet. That is the Old Testament. He said, don't think that I come to destroy it.
Because the new covenant hasn't came because it's definitely
Just read on, man.
Read it, Scott. Listen to the words.
That's why I said what I said. I already started some. Listen,
You see the spirit of it.
yeah.
Think not that I am come to destroy the law
about the spirit right now,
or
bro.
the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. So the reason why the Messiah came was
To
because
fulfill
the
the
law
prophecy, bro.
said that he. What do you think that means?
No.
Did that mean he was going to destroy the law?
So
No.
why preach out the
No.
Old Testament if you got a new
Because
covenant
give me
before us, bro?
give me Matthew 13 and 52.
Let's do it.
It's Matthew 13 and 52.
ahead.
Then said he unto them,
Give me
therefore
Hebrews 8.
every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven
Every scribe that is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven, go ahead.
is like unto a man that is a householder,
Right, a householder, go ahead.
which bringeth forth out of his treasure things new and old.
So he brings out of his treasures things new and old. These are the treasures of the Lord.
Okay.
So when you go into the Bible and break it down, you have to go to the Old Testament and you have to go to the New Testament.
Right.
Because the
that
Old
verse will take you
Testament
back
and
to
New
Isaiah.
Testament back each other up.
But that'll take you back to Isaiah, the reason why he said he's
Exactly.
cornerstone, bro. Come
But
on.
the thing is, there's things that are written in the Old
Preach the
Testament.
half truth. That's what I'm
Listen,
saying.
the Old Testament, there's still things that haven't even been fulfilled yet.
Okay.
The Old
Right.
Testament.
Right, so why is he preaching out of it?
Because we have to. We're prophets.
Read this one here. Psalms 47.
We in a new covenant.
Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me, the whole book.
That's it. Now
book.
get
Hebrew-
8. I'm sorry, Hebrews 10 and 7.
Okay.
We'll
Okay.
back up to that.
The whole book.
Hebrews chapter 10, verse 7.
Okay.
It said, then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book.
The
It is
Messiah
written
said,
of me.
lo, I come in the volume of
Old
the book.
Testament and New
It is
Testament.
written of me.
Okay.
We read it in the Old Testament,
Testament,
and we read it in the New
New
Testament. Now give me Hebrews 8. 8
want
and
the top?
start at 5.
Okay, I got it. It
Matter of fact,
says,
start at 6.
verse 6 says, but now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant.
Right, because you had the Old Testament, which was the covenant. Now, what was the Old Covenant? What was the Old Covenant? What was the Old Covenant? What was the Old Covenant?
He got spirits on
Yeah,
him.
of course.
He got spirits
The
on
Old Covenant, I'm gonna break it down for you. So you can, matter of fact, before you read that, go to Jeremiah 31:31. Somebody get that real quick. And then somebody give me Leviticus, what is it, 17 and 10?
It's Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 31.
Go ahead.
Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel.
Why did the Most High have to make a new covenant? Why did the Lord have to make a new covenant? What was the old covenant? What was the first covenant? The first covenant was the Lord gave us the law, statutes, and commandments and said, look, if you break these laws, you have to sacrifice animals unto me.
Okay.
You have to shed their blood. You got something?
Yeah, real quick. Back in Hebrews 10, I'm going to read up at verse 5. It says, wherefore, when he cometh into the world, he said, sacrifice and offering that thou wouldest not.
Right.
But a body hast thou prepared me.
Right, but a body has thou prepared me. Why? Because Yahushua had to be the ultimate sacrifice. Because the first covenant was established by blood, and the second covenant was also established by blood. As a matter of fact, when you finish there, go to Hebrews 9:22.
It says, verse 6, in burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin thou hast had no pleasure. And it read up now 22. If I would start up higher than that, it would have said more about what you were exactly talking about.
Yes, it goes on into Hebrews 9:22.
Hebrews chapter 9, verse 22, it says, and almost all things are by the law purged with blood.
Almost all things by the law are purged with blood. Go ahead.
And without shedding of blood is no remission.
Read it again.
It says,
From the top.
yeah, Hebrews 9 and 22, and almost all things are by the law purged with blood.
Go ahead.
And without shedding of blood is no remission.
Right, and without shedding of blood, there's no remission. So if you don't shed blood, you won't be redeemed. So that was the first covenant. So when Yahushua came on the scene to fulfill the second covenant, he had to be that ultimate blood sacrifice.
Yeah, he fulfilled the first covenant he fulfilled the first covenant by continuing in the first covenant. Actually, by being that same blood sacrifice that the people needed for the remission of sins. You know, so the old law wasn't done away with. And if I continue in Matthew 5th chapter, it goes on to say that all those things have to be fulfilled. And a lot of the Old Testament, some of the prophecies in the Old Testament still haven't been fulfilled.
Yeah, this is Exodus chapter 24 and 4. And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord Yahweh and rose up early in the morning and building an altar unto the hill and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto the Lord. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience.
The covenant. What's the covenant? The covenant is the agreement. Yep. So he took the book of the covenant, which the Most High made with us. Matter of fact, before you read that, brother, let me just read this real quick. This is what is that? Is that Leviticus 17 and 10 I told you?
Yeah.
Read that real quick. Leviticus 17 and 10. And whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel or of the stranger that sojourn among you that eateth any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul that eateth blood, and will cut him off from his people. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls, for it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul. So that was the agreement of the first covenant. So we read now that Moses took the law, the book of the covenant. Go ahead.
It says, and he took the book of the covenant and read it in the audience of the people.
Right.
And they said, all that the Lord have said will we do and be obedient. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said,
Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said,
behold, the blood of the covenant which the Lord hath made with you concerning all these words.
The blood of the covenant which the Lord hath made with you concerning all these words. Is there more?
That's pretty good.
That's it. So now I got one real quick, and then somebody got Jeremiah 31. This is Zechariah chapter 9, verse 11. It says, as for thee also, by the blood of thy covenant, I have sent forth thy prisoners out of the pit wherein is no water. So the Lord set up Yahushai as a blood covenant, or as that ultimate sacrifice to deliver us. That's why he went on the cross, that's why he was pierced, and that's why he was stuck on his side with that spear, and blood and water came out of that, because that represented the blood and water of the scriptures and of that covenant or that agreement that the Most High made. And that's how we made peace.
That's right. And they didn't break his bones because he was that sacrificial man.
1 Corinthians 11 and I'm going to start at 26. For as often as ye eat of this bread and drink this cup, ye will do show the Lord's death till he come. Wherefore whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord.
Because that was only for the remission of sins for the elect. That wasn't for the whole nation right there. Though it would count for the whole nation after their blood is shed when they know it after death by pain.
Matter of fact, so let me start up real quick. 1 Corinthians 11 and 24. And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, take, eat, this is my body.
That's why the Passover is what it is, because it's a Passover. Instead of it being for our whole nation back then in Egypt, it'll be for the elect that will be the first fruits of our whole nation. And in this new Egypt, or Egypt again, if you can tell.
Yeah, this is talking about the Passover.
The Passover, right.
It says, take, eat, this is my body, which is broken for
that's
you.
That's why we still have place to perform the Passover, because we need Passover again. But it's only for the elect and not the whole nation. Go ahead, bro.
This do in remembrance of me. After the same manner also he took the cup when he had supped.
So if I could just tie in what he was saying, So he's taking something from the Old Testament and making us remember him going through that solemn assembly in the New Testament, and to remember what he's doing for us in the New Testament because of breaking the Old Testament. That makes sense, right? No.
It says, "This cup is the New Testament in my blood.
Yep.
This do ye as oft as ye drink it in remembrance of me." That's why the Passover is so essential, because when you drink that wine, it's the commemoration of drinking the blood of Yahweh Shai, because he sacrificed his blood for the remission of our sins.
Right. We can't actually drink blood, so we drink the blood of the grape.
Yeah, because it's forbidden against the law to drink actual blood.
Exactly.
And that's why those people that were following Yahweh Shai got offended.
Right.
Because he said you got to drink eat my flesh and drink my blood.
Right, they didn't want to do it, they didn't break the law.
They thought carnal. It was carnal.
It was spiritual.
Jake, he really willing to just impress his little slut. Jake is a simp.
Yep.
So he's gonna try to do his hardest, his biggest impression on his broad.
Jake may know one thing and not even know that right, and think he's trying to come up here and preach or teach us something.
And he marked himself.
He's trying to say, hey, let's go, man. You about to embarrass yourself. And what did he do anyway? No. Ooh, like a second grader. Ooh, I got a question. Ooh, I can't help. Man, come on, man. We grown men out here.
Yeah, here it is,
I
man.
told you, wait a second.
Hey, the spirit was flowing.
Right.
You know, all kind of precepts was coming out, brothers bringing precept edification coming out, and this simplicity. That's why I said, man, if you're going to ask your question, just...
Let's go.
Yeah, I said, all right, man.
Yeah, it's a second grade question.
When it came out, we went to both books, the old and the new.
Right.
We couldn't take that.
Couldn't handle the truth.
Right. But he wasn't in for that. That's why I was trying to tell him, like, hey, are you here to ask a good question, or are you here to get on camera?
God, he wanted to get on camera.
He wanted to get on camera.
He said, I want my question to be on camera.
Yeah.
We looking like, nah.
That's why I said, no, the camera will hear you. It'll pick you up. Anyway,
The camera got his simplicity, man.
Yep. Mark yourself.
Mark yourself.
Let me go back into this Hebrews 8 chapter because it ties it all in. Hebrews 8:6. But now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. Yeah, because think about it. First off, we don't have to do the sacrificial part no more, and then once we get into the kingdom of heaven, now that Yahweh Shai did shed his blood, now that he didn't shed his blood for us, we don't have to go through that anymore. We don't have to go through killing animals and sacrificing animals no more.
Okay.
But the laws will be written within us, but we won't have to atone for remission of sins anymore either, because he's that ultimate and final sacrifice. And that's the difference. That he couldn't understand. They have to go hand in hand. We didn't let us finish every point that we wanted to make with the edification with a king. He ran from it.
Because I saw the simplicity, and even when I called simplicity, he's like, oh, you're about to see something, the spirit of something. I was like, oh boy, here we go with the simplicity. That's why you don't even engage a clown like that. You know.
Some you had the floor, but some told me like, no, we're not taking questions.
No, I mean, I was like a high priest. I'm looking at you, even though he was over there. I already see the simplicity.
Right.
And I wasn't even looking at him.
Right.
We can tell it's
You can read it on Jake.
Yeah. Now the other dude that came up, I mean, he might be a Jake. He might look at he had real Jake, but he was asking some real questions, man. Things that were real serious.
We were just talking about that before we came to camp. The best dialogues that camps have is normally with confusion of face Jakes or actual heathens. It's never with Jake. You can't reason with Jake because they're too simple here in America, man. Too simple, man. Too dumbed down. Too diluted. You know?
They grasp with their tongue.
Yeah.
They don't want to listen. They want to prove
So why would the most we were sitting so loud? How many questions?
They try to prove a point that they don't know shit about.
Right. And that's what's funny about it is that it only makes them look even dumber. So why would the Most High want to destroy niggas like that? You know? Why would, niggas fix, thumping tomahawks, whatever, why would he want to kill him, man? Because they ain't gonna get right, no matter how serious it was. We're trying to answer your question. We're trying to treat you like a man, but you want to act like a child. So we gotta treat you like a child. And the Most High gonna spank you like a child when it comes down to it.
I got something.
You got something now?
Something, yeah, real quick. It's Proverbs 14 and 6. A scorner seeketh wisdom and findeth it not. But knowledge is easier to him that understandeth.
Hey, he understands how to first gird up his loins and act like a man. First things first, shut your mouth another minute. You asking us a question, allow us to answer it. That's grown conversation. That's how grown-ups deal. That's how men deal. But if you up there, I got a question, it's a good one. I want to be on camera to ask the question. Man, get the hell, we see you simple, man.
And he tried to disguise it as if he had a sincere question,
Right.
but really he was trying to make it. He was trying to make a statement in the form of a question.
Right.
You know, that's how Jake do it. Because Jake wanted, in any situation, Jake he wants to get the preeminence no matter what.
Right.
He always want to try to get the one up over you, man.
Yep.
You know.
You probably see this woman eyeballing his way down the thing like, dang, what's
She was,
that?
and she was too. You know.
Yep.
Verse 7, go from the presence of a foolish man when thou perceivest not in him the lips of knowledge. That's why the apostle didn't even want to deal with him, man.
Right.
He saw the simplicity coming, you know?
Where's this another one in Proverbs? Because I was going to go.
I got another quick one. Ecclesiastes 10 and 3, it says, also when he that is a fool walketh by the way, his wisdom felleth him, and he said to everyone that he is a fool.
Yep. Hey,
that's these niggas, man.
Did he say, hey, I'm a fool? But did his actions show that he was a fool? His actions showed that he was a fool. You know? Clearly showed that that's what he was. That's why it says a man may be known by his look, excessive laughter and gait show what he is when thou meetest him. You know?
Jake,
you see a mile off, he was simple.
Jake,
that's why he had his back to him and could see he was simple. Stevie Wonder could see he was simple.
I was just gonna say, man, that woman is gonna be the death for a lot of you niggas. Man. She's the prime motivation behind why these niggas act the way they act, man. He did that to impress her.
And marked himself.
And she wasn't even impressed. She's like, nah, baby, you about to look stupid. Just keep pushing, smile, and keep moving. Don't say. And he said, no. Ooh. That pissed me off. I was like,
pride, man. Pride.
But who teaches you men how to act like that? Your mamas, and then you think you get brownie points with your woman. That's only gonna lead you to destruction. That's why the scriptures say, they which lead thee cause thee to err, which is the women of our nations who lead us. Them and the so-called white man is who lead her. So you following one of those, you're gonna be led right into destruction.
I know what you mean, but you were mixing the scripture. The leaders of the people called them to err. But the other one is Isaiah 3. Matter of fact, get it.
What I was thinking.
And I'll get it. Yeah.
Isaiah chapter 3, verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. And that was the point I was trying to make. Because it was out of his mother that got him in that mind state. Because Jake don't have fathers in her home. Esau made sure that, or it was the so-called white man that taught her or that taught him that he's following. Either way, you're gonna get destroyed.
You were right. You were right on that scripture. I thought I was mixing it up with the other one.
Isaiah 9.
I do it too. Yeah.
No, that was my bad. You got
it's all good. You was reading today?
That was Ecclesiastes 10 and 3. Also when he that is a fool walketh by the way, his wisdom felleth him, and he said to everyone that he is a fool.
That was a fool.
That was clearly a fool. And you tried to be nice and not outwardly just disrespect him, get a shouting match with him. But what's supposed to happen? You want to prove that you're a fool. It's better to be quiet and be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt.
And the scriptures, that's what the scriptures say, cast not your pearls before swine, neither give that which is holy to the dogs, lest he turn and rend thee. You know? Because that's what all that would have happened was a fight, either a verbal fight would have broke out or a physical fight. And, we ain't got time for that foolishness, man. know, we coming too close to the end to be dealing with these clowns, man.
Kind.
You know, the Lord is about to do. He's doing big things, and you clowns out here are bullshit, man. Lord ain't got time for that weak, simp, cuck spirit, you know.
Right. If you're not a leading man, so to speak, of your household, then this thing ain't for you, man. Just going up the block.
Sirach 22 and 13, talk not much with a fool,
right,
and go not to him that have no understanding.
Yep.
Beware of him lest thou have trouble, and thou shalt never be defiled with his fooleries.
Yeah, that's because
that says a whole lot.
Yeah, he can easily defile you with his foolery.
Okay.
You know, asking dumb questions. What did he do? He asked this question and tried to scurry up the block.
This is the dumbest shit he said. He said, well, yeah, the prophecies in the Old Testament haven't been fulfilled yet, so why are you going into the Old Testament?
Guys, this is a bug out.
That's
why I really didn't want to deal with him, but I said, all right, let's see what he got. I already knew it. That's why the other guy last week, he said, yo, can I put my beliefs on it? I said, not right now. I said, the brother's going to a real deep topic. You come later, maybe you can get it later.
Right, we're leaving in 30 minutes.
Yeah, fuck that.
Let me read this and to answer that about what he